ACF was founded in 17th April 1979. At that time, it was known as Arunachal Christian Action Committee. Subsequently, it was made as Arunachal Christian Forum. Now, Arunachal Christian Forum and Arunachal Christian Action Committee, we had many towering leaders. At that time, I'm talking about 1979-78, 79-80. Christian population was just less than 2%. So you can imagine the amount of harassment our leadership had, all our leaders had. But today, Christian growth has grown. আমি সব বুঝিব লাগে যে যদি অৰুণাচল ফ্ৰীডম অফ ৰিলিজন এক্ট 1978 আকৌ ৰিভাইভ কৰে, ৰিভিজিট কৰে, মানুহৰ এইটো ৰুল বনাই কিনি অত্যাচাৰ কৰে, তেনেহ'লে আমাৰ এই সুন্দৰ পিচফুল ষ্টেটটো ঝগড়া হ'ব। অথনি মোৰ ভাই চলটো তুমি কোৱা নিচিনা, কিন্তু আমি নেযাম ইমানলৈকে, হ'লেও ভাৱনাটো আছে কি people can be quite, confrontation. You can confront each other. Revival of Freedom of Religion Act raises a concern, particularly in state like Arunachal Pradesh, which occupies a strategic positions along the Indo-China-Myanmar border. As China continued to assert its claim over Arunachal Pradesh, referred as Southern Tibet, to the local dynamics must be navigated with sensitivity and foresightness. Amar jetu freedom of religion bill jodi apuni ako jordar lagu kore, tenehole amar opponent China to hi usorte bohi ase, hihote ei position to advantage lobo pare. Gotike the government, this is a call to the government, stop playing with fire. Apunar male joy logot mane apunar lake matches লৈ কিনি জেগা জয় জ্বলাবলৈ ষ্টাৰ্ট নকৰোঁ। Now APRA has been 47 years. 47 yearsত মই কৰোঁ শুনা নাই কি আমাৰ খ্ৰীষ্টান মানুহ ৰাইজে জবৰদস্তি কনভাৰ্ট কৰিছে, কোনোবাই মানে টকা দি কিনি খ্ৰীষ্টান বনাইছে, মইতো শুনা নাই। আজিলৈকে কোনোবাই কেছ আছে নেকি? একো কেছ নাই আৰু খ্ৰীষ্টানৰ এগেইনষ্টত। এতিয়া খ্ৰীষ্টান এতিয়া কিমান হ'ল? 2011 মতে আমি 31% আছে। In 2021, Arunachal Christian could be as large as 45 to 55%. So, এইটো কথা লৈ কিনি আমাৰ ইণ্ডিজিনাছ ভাই ককাইবিলাকে বহুত জোৰদাৰ লগাইছে। মই ইণ্ডিজিনাছ ভাই ককাইবিলাকৰ মই এইটো সুধিবলৈ খুজিছোঁ, আমাৰ ইণ্ডিজিনাছটো নক্তে মোৰ ৱাঞ্চো আৰু টাংচা সম্পৰ্ক দেই, বিশেষকৈ ইণ্ডিজিনাছ কি ধৰণৰ হয় আমাৰ আদি সম্পৰ্ক, আদি ছ'চাইটিৰ মাজত, মিচি ছ'চাইটিৰ মাজত, এইটো মই দকে নাজানো। কিন্তু আমাৰ নক্তে ৱাঞ্চো টাংচা, particularly Nokte Wancho indigenous prayer, indigenous worship begins from head hunting. Manur matha kata pra mane amar indigenous arambho hoy. Ki amar indigenous bhai kokai bilake ki amar kata kati mami head hunting suri koribo lage naki? Etu moi hihoto question sudisu. Etu indigenous bhai bilak apuni etu nokorok. Kele indigenous to nohoy ki apuni mane একটা মানে চার্চ নিচিনা এটা মন্দিৰ বনাই কিনি ঘণ্টি বজাই কিনি এইটো ইণ্ডিজিনাছ নহয়। Indigenous is a nature worship.
Yes,
it's a wonderful worship. You live with the sky, you live with the air, you live with in a jungle of full of availability. Now, indigenous faith, instead of often referred to a traditional tribal or religious group, are spiritual system practiced by indigenous communities. To today's globalized world, indigenous faith face both challenges and opportunities. They remind us of the importance of respect of nature, honoring diversity, preserving culture and heritage. As the world grapples with environmental crisis, as a social fragmentation, the wisdom of indigenous faith society should learn to move harmoniously and interconnectedness. Now, indigenous faith is very closely related with your land. Indigenous to mati nohole indigenous nohoy mane faith. Apuni tate puja patra kore. Apuni mane etu adi bilake koy asi jok mane nodiror jitu kiba devil ase tak puja koribole jay. Gotike it's you worship the great trees where you feel that the demons are there, where you go to the big nalas where you feel that there could be some spirit. That is what indigenous refer to, and they become a part of the land. Land encompasses the indigenousness. So therefore, why don't the indigenous group fight against the mega dam proposal in which there will be huge biodiversity, there's be displacement of human living. Their place where they worshipped. The indigenous has worshipped in some of those nalas, some of those great trees, some of those great rocks. Those great rocks and nalas will be flooded by these great dams. But they will not say a word against the destruction of the actual indigenous beliefs. Kutike, we don't have to fight with them. I would suggest that the government, instead of coming up with framing rules, a rule nabonai kini, hiyote amar indigenous bhai kokai, at the same time ACF, and also from all the different denomination heads, they should call a meeting. So a meeting call correctly, dialogue kuribo lage. Court apuni apunar kuribo lage beha pai ase. Indigenous faith court beha pai ase to hudibo lagibo. Kuneo ami indigenous manuk ami more as a Christian. I became a Christian only in 79. As a Christian, I will never ever call any other religions either a Lucifer or a Satan. I would pray for them in fact. I would urge God to send wisdom to them. I would pray for them for love, compassion, and forgiveness. That is what we would do. I'm not here to speak to all of you for maybe to vote for me to be a ACF president. No, I am 77 years old officially. Kurat Tana was one of my secretary is Arunachal Christian Action Committee, and Prem Khandu Tungun is maybe 85, 86. He's also a friend of mine. So what I'm trying to tell you all is that, look, let us work together to bring about a harmonious Arunachal Pradesh. I'm a congressman. Our congressman, my freedom of religion, my bill introduced Kurisu. My dear P.K. Tungun, when you introduced this freedom of religion bill, you were not a congressman. You were Janata Party chief minister, not congressman. Janata, he tekete nije press medium belago koise, moi congress hong. Are apuni jodi congress hoye, tetia apuni se ekata mana awazot hi koy. RSS or yara ko kaam na ide freedom of religion bill. Tungun sahab mok moi etu kobole khujisum apuna bilake hunok. P.K. Tungun was brought into Janata Party with the help of my old friend Nanaji Deshmukh. He is the RSS ideologue. So, well, he may be a RSS ideologue, but I had a lot of meeting with many IAS, RSS, George Fernandez, and so also our other socialist leaders. So he was brought into the Janata Party by Nanaji Deshmukh. Can he deny by catching Lord Buddha saying that Nanaji Deshmukh never took me to Janata Party? He cannot, because I know I was within that particular circle when he went. And there is a ashram, Rajendra Ashram by Adim Jati Seva Samaj Sangh, which is part of RSS. Of course, this was, they have started that institution somewhere in 64. So, P.K. Tungun was very close to this particular institution. So I am quite confident that Mr. Tungun has in some way been a part of enacting the law through some influences by some organization. Now again, Mr. Tungun's blames my very good friend Aken Lego. I'm trying to debunk the press briefing, and one of the press reporters says, Tungun was Janata Dal. Tungun was never a Janata Dal, because Janata Dal was basically a Congress based by BP Singh. So that news reporter, very interestingly, he both bhal ke he घुमाए कि नहीं कोई ऐसे कि पीके थुंगुन जनता दल अछि पीके थुंगुन जनता दल नासिले पीके थुंगुने मैंने जनता दल होमर एटु रूल टू बनवाय নাই হি এ হোমৰ হি সিএমএ নাছিলে গটিকে even the press people, you have to speak the truth. Don't try to concoct. If you don't know, please study. আপনার বেলাকে স্টাডি করক হিস্ট্রি অফ অরুণাচল প্রদেশ আপনার বেলাকে জেনারেল নলেজ স্টাডি করক. Don't say mane Janata Dal P.K. Thungun was Janata Dal. That is absolutely false. And you are you also being trying to be the one of those national media who are, most of them are paid media of a particular party? Don't be that. Arunachal Dalis have the courage to speak the truth. This is for the media friends fraternity. Please don't mind, but I'm trying to speak what is right, what is true. Now, Akan Lego was one of the most towering Adi amongst those days was known as the Arbor, very towering figure, a politician and a very dynamic orator. Akan Lego came out with a private member resolution. I say private member resolution. Ki Arunachal culture, ethnicity, and way of life should be preserved. So there should be the government should strengthen the cultural heritage and others. It did not say anything about Freedom of Religion Act, because at that time Akan Lego himself was a Christian. So why would he bring a freedom of religion bill in Arunachal Pradesh? So therefore, I absolutely deny the fact that what Tungun said was not correct. Arunachal Pradesh is a land where we have ethnicity, and you as people must ensure that who you make your leader, who you make them to be a part of your entire ecosystem, you must see what do they do on this freedom of religion bill. How do they act? How do they really fight? Do they fight for you or not? You have to come out and see. Don't only just give votes and then forget about the whole thing. So may I humbly request all of you to please go to your villages and to your locality and start creating a unit. If you are into Arunachal Christian Forum unit, wonderful. If you're not part of Arunachal Christian member of the Arunachal Christian Forum, then all of you make a small unit, a group or unit, and share what you feel, dialogue with your people, and come out strongly against this anti-secular, anti-constitutional law. We have lived freely in the depth of our jungles, in harmony with nature and with joy in our hearts. We have fought and died to secure our land and fundamental rights that defines us, who we are as Arunachalis. These rights are inalienable. We have won through our sacrifices. Lot of Indian patriots, lot of freedom fighters has died for our democracy, for our secularism. Now we cannot sell that secularism neither to BJP or neither to double engine government or neither to Pema Khandu. Pema Khandu must realize that. As we work to make our government more responsive to our lives today as Christian, do not be fooled into thinking that new rules that is going to be framed under 1978 will guarantee you any safety. You will be taken to task. You will be taken to imprisonment. You will be harassed day in, day night. Be careful. It is easy for all of us to get tired. How long we can fight as, Arunachal Christian Forum. But don't get exhausted, please. Because Arunachal needs you more than any other time, more than when we got union territory given by Indira Gandhi, more than this union statehood that we got by Rajiv Gandhi. I want all of you to continue to fight for your right. Our forefathers fought for democracy and secularism, and we must carry our legacy with all our might and prayers. Don't forget to pray. Hold your elected representative. Hold each one of you your elected representative. I know 90% of you have given to a BJP candidate as a MLA. I know 99% of you have given to make a BJP MP as your MP. But this is the hour, this is the time that you have to call upon them and catch them by the neck. And ask them whether they stand with Arunachal Christian people or not, or they want to suppress us. Just simple question. What answer they give? It is not enough, my dear brothers and sisters, for you all to invite them in your churches and also in your schools and ask the ministers, BJP ministers, MLAs to come and inaugurate. And then also give you some CGI shit. That is not your right. That is not what Jesus taught you. That you're selling your soul for 40 pieces of silver coin. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's what I wanted to really stress, that you have to wake up. Be passionate on what you believe. Be confident in what you think is right. Be confident that you are being saved by Jesus. Be confident that you are a Christian from the birth to the death. Remember that. Unless you don't remember that, we all are dead Christians. Now, if you are so passionate, please join different Christian groups and share your history. Some of the most important moment in our history comes from the grassroots. From you only, the important historical maps are created. India's freedom movement started from the grassroots, started from the people who are in the villages, not only those who claim themselves to be leaders. So therefore, for your liberties, for your freedom and democracy, stand up against this Freedom of Religions Act 1978 rules. We know our state is going through a very difficult time. Our faith and freedom of conscience are under serious threat. We cannot predict what next will happen, let alone knows what next decade will bring us. But this is not the first time we have faced political instability and persecution. The persecution was more rampant in 1970, 60, late 60s, 70s and 80s. Yet, you stood like a solid rock. As a student of literature and political science and history, I've seen that history has taught us one thing. History has taught us one thing. We must choose to overcome evil, the evil that is around us, with Christian love, and change this state to be a beautiful Christian state one day. We need to engage citizen and principal leaders who will do much more and who must speak up for it. They must stand for secular character of our nation and defend the persecuted Christians. So thank you very much for caring about your right to practice the religions of your choice.